Hello, everybody. You can call me Hunch. I got a lot to talk about today. You guys are foaming at the mouth, I can tell. You're sitting there refreshing your Xverse app, your Coinbase app. Hey, God! What's my net worth? Is it $1,000? Disgustingly said. Anyway, everything here is not financial advice. This is purely educational. I'm going to be talking about Alex. I'm going to be talking about Stacks, Daiko, Bitcoin, DeFi. I'm going to be talking about Ethereum. I'm going to be talking about everything. I'm going to go through this, right? Whatever I say here doesn't mean buy it. I'm just talking about my thoughts on every matter. Please do not buy anything I say. I'm just educating you about what I think about it. Okay? So, let the games begin. You can call me Hunch. Okay, let's get that out of the way. One-man show. Okay, I got to preface this video by starting to say that the COPE from ETH, mainly ETH people, has not reached a fever pitch yet. I think it goes higher. I think ETH maxis are so in denial that we just got to keep putting them in their place. Now, I don't say this without reason. I've been talking about for the last year, right, this chart. This is the ETH Bitcoin chart, okay? A lot of people were all excited, like, oh my God, finally, the ETH Bitcoin chart. And they were like, oh, it's going like this. Okay, look at what happened. I've been saying this for a year. We continue to go down, right? And I've given many reasons for that, right? This is obviously, so far, right, it's shown to be the Bitcoin cycle, right? With ordinals, people are hyped about it. You've got the ETF, right? And everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a sell the news. Dude, it may be a sell the news, it may not, right? It's a statistical probability. But if I had to guess, right, the pent-up demand for a Bitcoin ETF has got to be astronomical. I'm sure you've been reading the articles, okay? Now, there's also another reason. Okay, I've been hearing about this Egan layer on Ivan on Tech. Now, he posted about it. Egan layer will cause a 2008 on Ethereum. It's some of the biggest COPE I've ever seen in this app. So, let me give you a little background here. Okay, if you don't know what the Egan layer is, this is what I've gotten from people explaining it to me. Ethereum is going to process transactions from every chain. Okay, not just the Ethereum chain, not just the L2s, Optimism, Arbitrum, and by the way, don't pay you or Matic, don't pay you ETH for their interest, right? For the proof of stake interest, but they're also going to do it for every chain. Okay. Now, to me, shit just does not make sense at all, because under the same breath, these ETH people who talk about this, like Ivan on Tech, right? And we can search the next thing I'll talk about. They'll talk about something called like C. Okay. C. Okay. Look at the chart of C. C is a parallelization chain. Okay. Whatever. They'll talk about Celestia, which I really think people were fading. Okay. Now here it is. Right. And it's just mooning over and over again. This is a modular blockchain. It doesn't make sense, right? Like, why are they talking about all these parallelization chains and modular blockchains to solve this infrastructure problem? If the eigenlayer is going to be the infrastructure, you know what I think? And I'm not saying ETH is going to zero. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying ETH doesn't have value. I'm just saying I think they're full of shit, right? And you could, I mean, I just feel like you could quote me on that. I think they're all full of shit, right? They lied to you about adding smart contracts to the base layer, not affecting decentralization and safety, right? With all the hacks and stuff. And I think that's verifiable, right? That smart contracts at the base layer causes more security issues, less decentralization, right? And maybe I'm crazy, but that's what it sounds like. And now they're going to add another complexity layer with the Egan layer. You know what I think? I think these people are so far up their fucking ass that this shit is going to go like we can't even see on the screen. Like, that's like they are sniffing their own butts And they need to get their heads out of their butts because nobody knows what they're talking about anymore. They are so far from the plot. Okay, that's all I had to say about that. Now, let's go into the stuff that you guys care about. I tweeted today, I think Alex is about to shit his pants to the upside. I know you love the content. I know you're like, oh, this guy's gross, bro. Okay, maybe I take it too far sometimes. But to be honest, this is literally what I think is going to happen. Right? I think this ETH Bitcoin is going to keep shitting its pants. And this is going to keep shitting its pants literally upwards. Okay, so one is shitting its pants downwards, and the other will be shitting thy pants upwards. Okay? Now, that I think that goes for everything, right? I think that goes for Alex, Arcadico, right? Which has been on an absolute tear, right? Stacks, absolute tear, right? Now, let's see if I did I leave all the things behind that I wanted to say? It looks like I did. Maybe I can get to it. Okay. No, I didn't. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, but I'm late to this. But you're really not. Like, these valuations are not that high, right? Alex is, 175, 225 million, somewhere in there. Arcadico 20 million or whatever it is. But there's also more DeFi coming that doesn't even have a token yet. For example, Bitflow. Stacking DAO doesn't have a token. I'm not saying they will, but they might. Zest Protocol, right? And you can research these all individually in Villar, right? Liquidity providers, trading platforms, loans, whatever it is, right? You need to be watching these if you're not in Alex and Dyko, theoretically. And I still think you're early to those. Like, I really think those things could do like at least a 10x, right? I'd be so disappointed if it doesn't do a 10x. But I think they could go up to 50x. Now, that's not financial advice. Everything is a stratified risk outcome. Could it go to 0? Sure. But I think we've got this figured out on the Stacks ecosystem. Okay? So we talked about that. Now, I posted this today, right? And this is, I prompted this, Mega Man, 1970s style stockbroker on the New York Stock Exchange, okay? I think this is lit as hell, okay? Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, so if you go to Magic Eden, I'm talking about these things, okay? Mega punks, okay? The floor has been rising. I don't know if you have a graph on here, right? They might, but regardless, oh, maybe under analytics, right? You could tell it's pumping a little bit, okay? Now, I'm doing the deep, dirty work for you guys. I go, Megapont, hit me up with some tokenomics, you feel me? What are you guys doing, okay? Like, everyone's like, Hunch, you're kind of stupid, bro. Look, I'm out here grinding for you guys, free of charge. No YouTube revenue, no ads, not taking any endorsements, like literally grinding for you, okay? And they tweeted me this. These fucking people. I'm upset about it. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's move on. Here's another chart of the Mega. We can get that out. Now, the price of Mega kind of mooned today. Let's see what's at. It's at $2, okay? Now, I don't think the tokenomics on here are right, but maybe this FDV, fully diluted valuation is right. Almost 2 million. Now, what is the value of this token? I'm not sure. It's probably a governance token, right? What I think in the future the value might be is like the same thing as like a Marvel stock, right? Like, what is Marvel worth? Whatever stock is trading at, right? Whatever the company is worth, whatever the brand is worth. So if this brand, right, which here, we'll back up, and you can take a look again. If the brand of these things are worth something, maybe this coin is worth something. It's on the risk curve, though. It's far out on the risk curve. I don't hate it, though, right? I like the art. I think the art is interesting. They've been consistent. They've got pixelated apes, right? That's on Stacks, the NFT collection on Stacks. That's even further out on the risk curve. Why? Because it's not on ordinals. These are on ordinals, okay? Now, we talked about that. We talked about these. So Well, I'll skip over that. I don't need to talk about that. I'm not that interested in that. Maybe I'll make another video about that. Now, I wanted to talk about another BRC20 that I've become interested in. You know that I like Trac, I like Ghosty Cash, I like Stacks, Alex Dyko, right? All Bitcoin DeFi, basically. I've recently, not so much, right? I wouldn't say theoretically this would be a main component of my theoretical portfolio, but I liked Bitmaps, right? The BMP token. I've talked about this, but this one is interesting, right? COM BRC20. It's actually the ticker is not COM. It's just .com. Okay, on Unisat. Now this is the website. It recently raised 1.5 million, right? I think there's something here. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm paying close attention. I think the valuation is rather high. I think they're doing infrastructure, right? It says it leading infrastructure for BRC20 system. Now, what does that mean? Is that just trading? Is that, does that make it easier to trade a BRC20? Like instead of on Unisat where you have to list a chunk of tokens, right? I'm not totally sure what that means, but I think it got listed on Bybit today. Okay, I could be wrong about that. Let's go see. I'm pretty sure it got listed on Bybit. Yeah, Bybit. So there is some type of value here that the market is picking up on. It's ESK DeFi, so I'm not going to say a main position in theoretical portfolio, but to me, it makes sense to think about this project, right? Really, try to use it when the functionality gets better, right? Always make sure you use a burner wallet in case, it's a scam or whatever. These all could be rug pulls. But I think it's an interesting one to look at. So I just wanted to bring that up today. This is Ghosty. I still like Ghosty Cash, even though there is high risk, right? It does have a privacy component to that. There is a high risk of regulation, so on and so forth. That's a tail risk to me. So I just want to say that. But Ghosty did get listed on SuperX today. Now, is this true? I haven't gone on the SuperX. I can't use SuperX. I won't use SuperX. It's not a regulated exchange in the U.S. But apparently they're listing Ghosty. So that's bullish to me, right? Now, if you look at Unisat, the price looks like it's going down. But on OKX and some various other platforms, it looks like the price is holding strong around 70 cents. It's got this nice downward wedge. Could it go to zero? Yes, there's a huge tail risk there with that privacy component. But I like the way it looks, right? Now, I wanted to talk about Trac, okay? This is Benny the Dev. He's the creator of Trac, and he's talking about that freeze that I've been talking about with Alex and indexing. It looks like they solved the issue, and real big prominent people are talking about it. Leonidas, big guy in the ordinal space. He's talking about Domo, who wanted the freeze of the indexing, which would have affected Trac. But it looks like they've come to a consensus, right? Alex is involved in that, and to me, that's bullish for Trac. Now, say what you want about Trac. It has been going down. It seems like it's in this nice downward wedge, and we're gonna pop at some point. Could it be wrong? Sure, but I think the risk reward here is too much to ignore, right? You have, let's see if I can go to it. You have a Jubilee update, right? Which is OKX supporting it. These guys are coming out with a NAT token. I don't know much about it. I'll try to research it for you. They're going to be using the Trac core, right? They are developing in the background and kind of like silently. So it reminds me a lot about Stacks, right? Where Stacks was ignored for a long time. Didn't get the recognition it deserved, and then all of a sudden, overnight, it blew up. I get the same thing for Trac and Tap and everything under it. Could I be wrong? Sure. Okay? But I don't think I am. I'm a straight fucking gangster, baby. Pew, pew, pew. No, just kidding. All right. Last thing, I want to talk about BMP. I like the way the chart looks. To me, it looks like there's a huge downward wedge forming here, and it wants to break up. Could I be wrong? Sure. Is this token the official token of Bitmaps? I can't deny or confirm that. Has there been a lot of selling because of the airdrops and people want their free money? Yes. But I like Bitmaps. I think there's something interesting about Bitmaps. If you don't know what Bitmaps are, they've been a top 5 collection for a while now. I think this is going to be the #1 metaverse in all the metaverses. I'm talking about on Ethereum. I'm talking about on C. I'm talking about on your shitty modular blockchains. I'm talking about on everything. Could I be wrong? Sure. But I'm developing a thesis. Maybe you should too, you lazy sack. Okay? I like it. Could this be worthless? Absolutely. This is not financial advice. Do nothing I say. Come up with your own theoretical portfolios. I do not endorse investing in anything in this ecosphere until Congress and the SEC comes out with clear rules and regulations. I know that was a lot to handle, but I'm trying to get through to you. Chill, focus, and wait. You've got a winning theoretical idea. I feel like it doesn't have to be about this. It could be anywhere, right? What do I like? I like Bitcoin DeFi. I like having exposures to L1s like Solana, maybe C, Celestia. You know, could you invest in tokens under those? Sure you could. I'm not. I'm focusing on ordinals, right? Maybe one other chain like Solana. It's really hard to be bouncing around from chain to chain to chain and make a shit ton of money. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe it's easy. If you're doing this full time, maybe, right? But if you're just like going to work, you're a normal person, have conviction in something is my advice. I mean, I think that's the best idea. Anyway, I know that's a lot to swallow. God, maybe I'm wrong about everything. I don't know. I'm sticking with Bitcoin DeFi. I'm waiting for those Bitflows, those Valars, those Zest protocols. I like Dyko. I like Alex. I like Stacks. And I like some of the BRC20s. I like Trac, right, which will be involved in DeFi, bitmaps, the whole metaverse. I like Ghosty Cash, which has a value proposition, I think, right? But there's a huge tail risk. I like bitmaps, right? I like BRC20. I don't know too much about it. I'm going to do more, but I like what I'm seeing from the context clues around it. You can call me Hunch. I hope you learned something. Focus, right? It doesn't have to be what I'm doing theoretically. And right? You can go any direction you want. I'm just trying to give you ideas. I hope they're valuable. But if anything, you're all valuable in my eyes. I love you. You can call me Hunch. I hope you learned.